Hi everyone, thanks for clicking on the video. I hope you're all doing well. Shouldn't be too long a video for you today, just a quick one because I've been asked to do Kevin the Carrot. We've got a Kevin the Carrot in the UK, which is for a grocery supermarket. I don't want to be promoting them, so I'll stay shy of that, but if you Google it, I'm sure you'll find it. I know there are other carrot videos out there, but as I was going to make this for someone, I thought I'd record it. I'll try and make it as short as possible, but it's just a log of the one that I've done. It's from a just shy of a 20 centimetre piece of basswood, about 4 centimetres top and bottom as well, more or less. It's 3.5 on the side. A nice hard block of basswood, this one. So I'm going to use the bandsaw to rip a little bit of it off, just save a bit on my finger anyway, and we'll see where we go from there. A knife is from Chris Denham. I've had this for a little while now. Really good knife. It's a 4 centimetre blade on it, super sharp. As always, I have already stropped my knife, but people, don't forget, get the strop out, give it a good couple of strops, make sure that's nice and sharp. Got a video out there, as I mentioned before, on this nice long strop, 40 centimetres long. Go and take a look. If I remember, I'll put a link to the video above now for you to go back to later or reference it, whatever. Anyway, knife is already sharpened. I've done it on another tool as well earlier on. We're all good to go. Just, I suppose, for reference as well, when I've marked things, he's going to have a Christmas hat because it is a Christmas type of theme. So about 1.5 centimetres from the top down, I've just done a bit of a curve, and then that's going to be the white part of the hat. I've come down 8 centimetres there, which is, well, not 8, 7 centimetres there, which is where the mouth is. I'm doing the eyes at about 5 centimetres down as well. It's similar to what Kevin the Carrot is when you look at him on the TV. The ball of the hat is going to be at the back corner there. And they're more or less just done 2 centimetres by 1.7 centimetres there. So it's got a corner, basically, I'm going to protect as I'm cutting it out. Similar to what I did with the parsnips in the video. I don't know if you've seen that video, but that's another video link, if I remember, I'll put in as well. These are one of the recent ones I've done on YouTube, okay? I've done other Kevin the Carrot ones as well. Here's a good one. He's wearing a little jacket, and his feet all curled up. That's a typical basswood one. And this one will stand up like that. Can't really see it on the video, but yeah. Okay. Very easy. Just choose the parsnip video, colour him orange instead of like the tainted parsnip colour. Simple, yeah? Okay, as I was saying, let me get back to the video and go and cut this down. So let's draw a couple of things back in by pencil. This is the bottom of the part of the white of the hat. Just go round the back, down the side, somewhere like that. Side up to the top. How do I come down a bit further, maybe? What do you want, chicken? I mentioned your name, didn't I? What do you want? What do you want? I don't know what you're looking at me, but I don't know what you want. What do you want? You want to come up here? Let me just let it up on the table, guys. And sit down. There she is. Hello. Okay, let me carry on. Just let that stabilise. There we go. Sit down, chicken. Go on, sit. Sit down now. Okay. Yes, where are we? The hat coming down there. Up there somewhere. Not up there. So that's the part that's going to be red. Whoa, it's blooming heck. Nice bit of wood. Shame it's not going to be used for something that has some good detail in it. So that's the one thing about that hard bit of wood that we all complain about as beginners and say, oh, I haven't got a good enough knife. Oh, my wood is hard. Well, I come to learn to appreciate that. It's a bit more work, but I believe it holds the detail far greater. Well, I don't just believe, I know from pieces I've done with, I've had one or two from that John Paul type thing, but I mean, everything's the same. It's what I'm going to mention here now. I mentioned when I used to live on a farm that, you know, you get a nice bit of beef, yeah. And if you go to the supermarket or whether you go to a butcher, yeah, they're all cows. But just because you go to a butcher one day doesn't always mean you're going to get a nice piece of beef the next week or the week after. Yes, majority of the time I agree, yeah, you will, because they have definitely come from local butchers, etc., with local farmers, etc. And you know a bit more about what's gone into it, because the butchers do get close to the farmers and understand what they want and how much they need, etc., and they raise cattle or herds accordingly as well. But at the end of the day, a certain part of it is going to be down to the fact that that cow on that field no longer exists. You're eating it. So it all depends whether the farmers had to change the food supply he's had. It all depends on the weather, how much grass they managed to eat, whether it's the same fields, whether he's put something on the field. So it does always change, and yes, that will vary quite often. But it's the same with the wood. Where did that wood come from? You can't, I don't believe you can always say, I go to a certain shop to buy my wood, but that's the best place to buy wood, and you get it right every time, because once that tree's down, the tree's down. Like I'm looking at here now with the rings. Those rings are really tight, and I've had other pieces of wood where those rings are really funky, and I mean funky, in between other pieces. I'm not sure the camera's going to pick it up. I really don't. Maybe if I leave it down there, focus on it, I may be able to zoom in it later on. But those lines, they're not tight. There's a perfect example of it there. And again, I hope it does zoom in. It will be okay as a block of wood, but I've had them really bad, where as you're cutting through it, I mentioned to my neighbour James the other day, I can feel each year as I'm scraping through the bit of wood, I can actually feel the gap between each of the layers of the year, because that's the growth, those rings from the wood. So again, you know, once that tree and that piece of wood you've carved from is brilliant, yeah, I'm going to go back to the same shop, I've got to get that wood again. How do you know that next piece of wood has come from the same tree? Yes, hopefully, you know, he's had a bulk of it, and if you manage to pick it up today and carve it today, then go back, get it. Yeah. But don't expect to go back from 3, 5, 7, 10 years and think, yeah, that's the place you've got to go to get wood. Yes, no doubt, maybe they got someone who's supplying them with wood. I understand all that. But you cannot 100% guarantee that shop is going to have a really good bit of wood in 5 years' time just because you picked it up once. Comment below. Make a comment below on what you think about that as well. I'm not saying I'm right all the time, but I'm saying that that's my understanding of how I believe it would be. You're never going to have that same piece of wood again. That's gone. You've carved it. Yes, like I said, if you buy bulk, because I've got a local shop, I haven't been there for a little while, and that reminds me I do need to go back there, because I buy it in planks as well. Yes, I do pay a little bit for it. It's not too bad. He's reasonably priced. Doesn't give me any discount. I don't expect it. He buys it in at his cost. That's the price he wants to sell it at, and that is the price I pay for it from there. I don't ask for a discount. I don't want any discount. He's got to make a living as well. But he's a useful bloke as well. He cuts it sometimes for me because my bandsaw only go to, I think it's 4 inches. But he'll cut them down for me. He's got different blades in the bandsaw where he's got a rip blade instead of going against the grain. Cutting that way across wood is easy. Cutting down this way, the blade starts to twist a little bit, or at least it does with me. And I know it does happen on other machines as well, so it's not just mine. I'm not even going to look into it. He does a lot of that for me. So if I buy a big chunk, he'll split it in 4-inch sections or 3.5-inch sections for me, so I can cut it up from there. But it's a nightmare. If you've got a long plank that is 3 foot, like I get from him sometimes, cutting out with the grain, I don't expect it to be the same width each side. I suppose if I changed the blade and bought the proper blade for it, but I'd hardly use it. And there's no point when you've got a shop locally who can do that for you. But yeah, again, comes down to the wood, where you get it from, etc. All the woods are different, but yeah, I've had some real funky stuff, and that was a long talk, but not a lot that was. But there we go. That's a rant, as they say, isn't it? I've thought about it when I first started carving, watching Doug Lincoln, thinking, oh my gosh, what is going on here? First of all, I thought, it's got to be the knife. Somebody told me, yeah. I met Simon, yeah, get a different knife. When I told him how much I'd been paying for the knife, £12 for a set of 3. Oh, boy, did I understand as soon as I put that flex cut in my hand and started carving. I was literally laughing. Now I say the same thing about the flex cut towards the file type of blades, P-F-E-I-L, file, not as in file F-I-L-E. My gosh, I couldn't believe it when, again, same person, Simon, told me about get some chisels, get some U-shaped gouges and what have you. I was laughing again when I tried those. It was like, this is impossible. How can people even sell those rubbish knives when you got this sort of stuff around that, yeah, it costs a bit more, but how they hold the sharpness is crazy. It's all to do with, obviously, the steel, like, Chris Denham's knife I got here now today. They don't crack, they don't split, they don't break, they hardly ever chip. I've never had a chip on them. Full stop. I've never had a chip on any of his blades. O1 tool steel. I don't know how you can beat much of that. I'm sure there's 1 or 2 metals out there that'll do it. I'm no expert on any of that. I know a little bit. I'm not going to rant about it in a video, so I'd look stupid. But yeah, right, anyway, I'll go back to this. I need to create a bit of that hat coming up to there. I think we'll have him coming down the side, up there, and back down the side, meeting there. We'll have it roughly about a centimetre or so. Maybe just over, but I'm not measuring anything today. That is going to be that. Oh, I still got a little bit of this cold, blimey. Yeah, he's taking shape, yeah. Nothing like the shape of the little Kevin the carrot I did once. It's similar to the parsnip video. Totally different. This is going to be slimmer again. The bottom of it by a little bit. But you can see how much elongated it is now. Just like the one in the TV advert. So today I'm going to use a V-tool. Just because, again, I'm not messing around with my hand. So D12 6, so it's 6mm from the top each side, and D12 is just the profile of the blade. I'm going just underneath that line, and I don't want to make it massively deep. I want his head going into and underneath the hat. I don't want the brow to have a huge brow of the hat to have a huge gap underneath it, like I've done earlier years of carving, because it just looks like the hat is sitting on top of the head rather than the head inside the hat, as it were. And the same with the top. So what I'm basically, so what I'm doing basically there now is the bottom part of this blade here, I'm using it as a flat across the surface here, and then the top is going up, so the V is coming down that way and out this way. Do you see that? So it leaves the flat along the bottom, and I'm taking off the wood from around the top of the wood there. Okay, but I'm not doing it slowly, I am doing it slowly because a bit of wood is nice and firm. And again, those thinking, I'm going to run a comment down below, your blade's not sharp enough. These blades are sharp. I've got an issue with my finger, it's hurting, and this wood is quite hard. I already know because I've done another project with it. So if you just skip forward to this part, now you know why. Oh my goodness. There we go. There we are. I'm not going to make this video long, so I'm going to edit some of this out. I'm just going to go around, tidying up a little bit underneath with that, just to get it there. I'll actually use the knife in a second now to tidy it up even more. Look at her. She's got a little bit of sleep. She's about 8 years old now. So the mouth, there's not much of a mouth on Kevin the Carrot. So I'm not going to do a massive detail on the mouth, but I am going to go in a bit deeper than I can with the V tool. I have got a shallow 60-degree V tool, so the points, instead of the V tool being like that, you can have them where they're sharper again, and that's up there. Quickly show the difference in them now. Don't know if you can tell too much on the camera again. One B is actually sharper V than what that one is. And then you get they call the soft V's. Just rounded off. It's like like a big U. Anyway, sorry Ken, so did I wake you up? Just gotta shape a bit around that block there now. I don't want to take a lot off, particularly close to the hat rim. Just sort of taking like where my finger is off there, all the way around rather than inside there. Gone in a bit there, but not my intended purpose. There we go, that's better. It's going the wrong way now with the grain. Stop cutting there, just slide up nice. There we go. All the way around. Is that done? So when it comes to the bottom part down here, I'm going to use a gouge today just to misshape the carrot a little bit. Or am I going to be adventurous and try it again with a knife? See if my hand's going to be okay. There it goes, nice and clean now. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to just do sort of lines here and there that are going to create flat spots. Just a couple. Because I want to be able to kind of winterize them a little bit. When I say that, I'll show you what I mean. Now, where you have these flat edges and then the peaks around there. Perfect example of it there. This was incorrectly done, but basically I've just gone there with a paintbrush and just dragged it along the edges. But if you get a dry brush effect where the paint is slightly dried and then just flick it back and forth that edge, you'll get a really good effect all around. It looks like as if it's crackled sort of thing. This probably looked a little bit better than that one. So I want to create those ridges. So basically there, if I get one of my gouges out, 818. So that will create that effect that I'm looking for. It's also splitting the wood because I'm going the wrong way. Just a couple of random ones here and there. Not a lot, just a couple. There we go. I don't want to be overdoing it. No nose on Kevin the Carrot, by the way. Not the one on the video that I'm referring to. Make that one a bit longer with the knife. And then I want to try and make the effect that it's narrower again at the bottom. There we go. Like I said, I don't want to make it like a toy that's going to be perfectly edges and all the rest of it and perfectly rounded or anything. I do want to get that thin bit off the top though. Again, I keep mentioning this in most of my videos, if you're going to leave that on, that end grain, that is going to absorb like mad and the finish on the wood won't be clean or anything at all. Now it will, this is nice and shiny. Okay, let's get these pencil marks off. I need to change these gloves too, because I can tell this pencil coming off from them, making the wood slightly grey in places. So there's the hat done. There's all the pencil marks off that. Make sure you've got a nice line around there to make sure you can have the difference in the paint. Eesh. If you've seen any of my other videos, you'll know how much I love painting. But definitely learned something about painting and leaving lines to separate the two of the colours. So get in there and get a definition between the rim of that hat and the part that's going to end up painted red. I might actually look for the video later on to see what's happening with that Kevin the Carrot and that wedding he's in Australia for. It looked like he was running late for the wedding. I'm not sure I mentioned that earlier in the video, I might have. Now it's got me curious now. So yeah, barbed hat is going to be white. So again, I want to make sure I have a definition between that red bit that's going round in there and the white bit up there. Needs to be very clean. Sorry, Kenzo. Just a knife blade flexing again. Funny dog. That's the Kevin the Carrot, more or less, done. That's taken me longer on camera than I wanted to actually take to do it, but I've done it. Just thought I'd reference the video so she knows it's been made. I will paint that up. Go from there then. Yeah, that's better. That's bugging me a little bit. Yeah, that's all good. He will literally have his eyes, big round spots of an eye. I might paint one slightly higher than the other, and he gets just little marks, his eyebrows on each side. And that's basically him, Kevin the Carrot. So, next part you'll see now is when I painted it, okay? So there he is, painted up, Kevin the Carrot. Bit different to that carrot, but more in line with what you see on the television, the grocery advert. I've lightly coated him in the orange there, and you can still just about make out some of the grains through the white on the hat, but you can definitely make it out through the red. I'm not sure it'll pick up on the video or not again. Bit different to that Kevin the Carrot. Yeah, he will have to dry up completely now. He's still slightly damp. But once he's dried up a little bit, I'll give him that little brushed effect. There's a good example of it there, actually. See that like light crackle that you get on the edges? Yeah, really good example of it there. Anyway, it's not about him. Kevin the Carrot, thank you everybody for watching. Hope you have a good Christmas. It's not too far away. Good couple of weeks yet, I know, but again, thank you very much for watching the video. Don't forget to drop a comment in the descriptions below. Let me know what you think, what you're carving now for Christmas. Let me know, if those across the pond, if you've got Kevin the Carrot out there in the grocery store or not. I'm not sure. If you haven't, I'm sure you can do a Google search and look him up. Thank you. Take care. Have a good day. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye.